Bud and Lou is the movie this week on B&S About Movies, a 1978 TV movie. This movie crushed me as a child. I had always loved Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, watching their 36 films on Sunday mornings, right after Mom and Pa Kettle on WPGH 53 in Pittsburgh. Seriously, weekends in Pittsburgh in the 70s and 80s were the best time of my life. You stayed up all night on Saturdays watching Chiller Theater. You maybe started your day with watching Cleveland channels and watching Superhost. You just pretty much got to watch horror movies all the time, then woke up late on Sunday and took in some Abbott and Costello. They're great memories. But that said, when this movie aired on November 15th, 1978, I excitedly watched it from my parents' black and white kitchen TV, ready to have fun reliving my favorite memories of my favorite comedy duo. I wasn't ready to learn how much they hated one another and all the things they had done wrong. Cut me some slack, I was 6. I didn't know that people were real people.
In 1936, America needed to laugh. An unlikely duo emerged from the seedy burlesque nightclubs of Brooklyn to become the most popular and highest paid comedy team in the world.
We got a contract to do our show every week. You serious? This is just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
But life behind the curtain was filled with pain and heartache. It was an imperfect friendship that would last a lifetime. And it was a team that would change the world of comedy forever. Legendary Entertainment Alliance presents Buddy Hackett and Harvey Korman as the infamous Abbott and Costello in Bud and Lou, the true story of two beloved comics and their historic rise to fame and the price they paid for the legends they became.
Who's on first? I don't know.
Abbott and Costello are played by Buddy Hackett and Harvey Korman. Interestingly enough, Hackett and Hugh O'Brien replaced the team when Costello's health forced him to drop out of 1954's Fireman Saved My Child. In the movie, the team comes together really quickly when Abbott's original partner's ill, and they gel really well. The film also hints that Bud used to date Lou's wife. This is unproven, but as we've learned from tabloid-style films, facts are rarely important. For example, while they did debut on the Kate Smith Hour on February 3rd, 1938, they didn't do Who's on First until a month later, and they developed their distinctive voices. That month later, audiences initially thought that they sounded alike, until Costello came up with the high-pitched, childish voice that we know him for. They debuted their own show, The Abbott and Costello Show, as Fred Allen's summer replacement in 1940, before joining Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy on the Chase and Sanborn Hour in 1941. If you ever think today, man, things are so commercialized and there's product placement, no TV show on right now is named for a brand of coffee or cigarettes. That was also the year, 1941, that they made Buck Privates and Hold That Ghost. They made their first film appearance in 1940's One Night in the Tropics, essentially doing their greatest hits from burlesque on screen. A year later, they were the top box office stars in the country, earning over $789,000 a year. In today's money, that's around $12 million. To show how big of stars they were, a 35-day War Bonds tour in the summer of 42 earned $85 million, which is $1.3 billion today in sales. This is important because soon the government would come calling for money and forget all about the work that the comedy pair had done for them, and that's a major part of this movie. So here come the bad parts. Abbott had epilepsy, which in the film just means you have to sit down every once in a while. He also drank too much. Costello got rheumatic fever from a military-based tour and was bedridden for most of 42 and into 43, where he returned to radio after a year layoff. That very same day, his infant son drowned in the family pool, and the comedian was never the same. He became quick to anger and constantly vindictive to the point that a major rift happened in 45 when Abbott hired a servant who Costello had fired. This led to Costello refusing to speak to his partner except in performing. From then on, they would play separate characters in their films rather than be a team. This led to a loss in popularity, especially when teams like Martin and Lewis came on the scene. Abbott resolved the rift when he suggested naming Costello's charity the Lou Costello Jr. Youth Foundation. Finally, some good news. That charity still helps underprivileged youth in the Boyle Heights district of Los Angeles. And despite their dip in popularity, the two starred in several films with the Universal Monsters, which I completely love, and hosted the Colgate Comedy Hour from 52 to 54. Costello created, owned, and syndicated The Abbott and Costello Show. He paid Abbott a salary, a point this movie hammers home as proof that any reconciliation was only on Abbott's part. That said, the movie totally ignores that this show is a success and aired in reruns for a long time. It makes it seem like the guys were destitute, when they certainly weren't. The film never gets into the point that the duo was overexposed and worried about creating new material, which is one of the reasons why Universal couldn't reach a contract with them. They were forced to sell all their assets to the IRS to pay taxes. That's a point this movie definitely makes. After one last movie, Dance With Me, Henry, and Lou appearing on This Is Your Life, the duo split for good in 1957. Errol Flynn claims that he was the reason. At a party he invited Bud, Lou, and their families to, he showed some hardcore pornography, and Bud and Lou both blamed the other for this. This is skipped, but how would you show this in a movie made in 1978? The movie makes it seem that Costello died quickly after the pair split, but he lived until 1959, and he did 10 appearances on The Steve Allen Show, doing old routines without his partner. He did die shortly after finishing his last film, The 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock. In 1960, Abbott formed a team with Candy Candido, a voice actor in Disney films. He also did his own voice for the Hanna-Barbera Abbott and Costello films, and died in 1974 from cancer. But let's go back to me being a kid. I always thought that Lou was the nice one, with Bud being the mean adult, always grumpy with him. Little did I know the truth or what passes for it in this movie. I cried my eyes out during this scene.
Hey, Eddie. I had a lot of strawberry malteds in my life, you know that? But of all of them I ever had, boy, Eddie, this one's the best.
This whole movie is based on a book by Hollywood correspondent Bob Thomas, and trust me, it's as yellow journalism as it gets. It's been said that Thomas got most of his gossip from Eddie Sherman, Abbott and Costello's longtime manager, who were fired by the duo, so there's some venom there. It's also remarkably unfunny in the comedy segments, which is weird when you consider who's starring in it. It also has Artie Johnson and Robert Reed in it, and Robert Reed's in there just to remind you this is a made-for-TV movie. Both the book and the movie upset Lou's daughter, Chris, so much that she wrote Lou's on first to refute many of the claims. I'm not the only one obsessed by this film. Back in the day before he died, sadly, I miss him very badly. Gilbert Godfrey brought up the strawberry malted scene so many times. I guess I wasn't the only one shattered by it. I guess if you want to catch up on memories, you should skip TV movies, go back to the real movies. But as you've learned by now, I love junk. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. If you'd like to learn more about movies, come to the website at bnsaboutmovies.com. Send me an email at bnsaboutmovies@gmail.com. And every Saturday, you can find Bill Van Ryn from Groovy Doom and I on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. We show 2 movies, we talk about them, we show the ad campaigns, and we have cocktails that match the movies. Sometimes we show one movie when it's late at night, but most of the time it starts at 8 p.m. Go to the site, B&S About Movies. There's always an update for when a new episode is coming. Thanks for listening.